Today we are talking about the 80-20 principle. The idea here is all about doing more with less. Using this, you could boost your income, spend more time on your hobbies, and have more time with your friends and your family. And that's the way that you can unlock your full potential. I was inspired to do this video after reading Richard Koch's 80-20 principle, where he talks about how 80% of your productivity comes from 20% of your time. 80% of your wealth comes from 20% of your investments, and 80% of your happiness comes from 20% of your time. And you might be thinking, what? No way, I don't believe you, Max. Just think about your closet. Looking at all of your clothes, how many of them do you wear? And which ones do you wear more often than others? 80% of your clothes you only wear 20% of the time. Some things we use way more than others, and some things provide much more value than others. It's not an equal distribution. And using that idea, we can take advantage of it to improve our lives. Here is your key takeaway for today. 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. And you can leverage that idea to become more productive and have more time for the things that you care about, aka doing more with less. This proportion shows up everywhere. 80% of the profits go to 20% of the employees. 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. Things are not distributed evenly. It's all about getting more done with less. Less time, less resources, less manpower. Society has improved the way it has, especially over the last 100 years or so, because of the ability to improve and iterate with less. Because of this distribution, we should all spend a lot of time trying to remove that 80% of things that don't matter and focus on doing more of that 20% of things that actually does matter. So if you work, 80% of your time is probably not contributing anything towards your career and towards your company. Whereas 20% of your time, that's when you're really just focused, you're really actually doing what you're paid to do. And that block of time is what we want to increase while reducing all that 80% of excess bloat and fat from our lives. I've mentioned this before and I'm going to keep saying it. Every week you should just pick one, maybe two things that actually really matter to you, to your company, whatever it is. And then every day of the week, do one or two things that are contributing towards those one or two goals. And if you do that, you're going to be absolutely astounded at how much you actually get done. Because most people don't achieve anything on any week, maybe even months or years without doing anything of note or significant. But what this principle tells us is that we can do effective, useful things every day of the week, every day of the year, thereby dramatically increase our value over time. So how do you pick your two most important things to do each week? Well, for me as a student, I look at my classes and then I look at which assignments, which projects are worth the most percentage of my grade. So because of that, I spend a lot more time studying for tests than I do for quizzes. And it's the same thing with work. From my own experience, I spend a lot of time in meetings every week talking about the things that we should be doing. It's a lot better to just take what they're saying and then actually go do it. Don't dilly-dally, don't keep asking questions about, oh, who's going to do that? Who's going to do this? Just be the one to actually go do the thing that your boss keeps talking about every week. When we do what our managers or our teachers want, they value it. I know it sounds simple, but just do what your managers or teachers are asking you to do, and you will succeed. Pick the most important projects for the week and focus on those. Everything else does not matter. As you start to think 80-20, it's really easy to fall into the trap of 80-80, which is getting more with more. You notice this in a lot of corporate executives. Every time they get a pay raise, they also get a work increase. While you are making more money, you also have to work significantly more hours. You want to leverage your ability to add value and to complete tasks, and then do more with less. Unlocking your potential is all about setting those priorities and saying, hey, I'm not going to do more with more. I'm going to do more with less. Setting these boundaries allows you to focus and then achieve your potential in whatever market you are specifically working in. The famed investor Warren Buffett talks about how he spends all of his time looking for one good decision. His company, Berkshire Hathaway, that their goal is just to make one or two good decisions a year. 20% of his decisions make up 80% of the total value and growth that their company has seen. He has achieved more in one lifetime than most of us could hope to achieve in 2 or 3. The moral of that story is that we need to focus on the few things that are vitally important and then forget about everything else. Now, working out is the same thing. 80% of your gains come from 20% of your exercises. You think about squat, deadlift, bench press. These are compound exercises that activate more than one muscle at once, thereby increasing the muscle growth. So 20% of the exercises make up 80% of your strength and size. And it's the same thing with YouTube. 80% of my comments come from 20% of my videos. Speaking of comments, you should drop me one if you've noticed this distribution anywhere else in your own life. I don't want to live my life having only achieved 20% of what I'm capable of. I want to live my life knowing that I found every week and every day the most important things and I worked hard towards those. Achieving your potential is all about minimizing the things that don't matter and focusing on the things that do. In conclusion, 80% of your success comes from 20% of the things that you do. If you want to see how I live this principle in my own life, watch this video right here. And if you want to see what YouTube has for you, I'll put an algorithm one down here.